Hey there, Pokemon trainers. I'm Ash.
I'm Nick.
And we are here today with the Pokemon Rundown. There's a lot and not a lot going on at the same time, but honestly, the best way to start is with the latest regionals results. In our home state, down south in Indianapolis, the majority of our local crew ended up going.
Yep.
Like, everything I've heard, everyone had a blast. But unfortunately, no one made it to day 2, but...
I think Kyle might have day 2. He might have had...
Oh, right.
He might have made the cut for that.
Yeah. But it was just an incredible tournament overall. It was really fun to watch the matches live. And honestly, I'm just thrilled to announce that Dialga V-Star was the star of the show.
Yep.
Like, Dialga is such a rare deck to see. It performs what it does, but it's kind of hard finding its place with Charizard being so rampant. So seeing it take first is quite a feat, honestly.
Yep.
So, of course, congratulations to Andrew Hendrick for taking home the win. Second place was Grant Shen with Qianpao Baxcalibur. Third place was Dean Nizam. I apologize, I haven't mispronounced the last name, with the Lost Zone box. Overall, spectacular decks. Charizard got knocked out in top 8, which is surprising. I was expecting at least one top 4 deck being Charizard, but it was not.
Yeah. From what I heard from a couple of our locals when they came back, it seemed like Qianpao was a very large portion of the field, so that Dialga V-Star was just very well positioned to take advantage of that meta call, that there's going to be a lot of Qianpao running around and to abuse the steel weakness that it has.
It was definitely a very smart call, and especially when we saw the final match. Like, we were both watching it pretty intently, just seeing what was going on, and at one point we were both just like, there's literally nothing Grant can unfortunately do to get out of this position.
Yeah, Andrew's game 2 is really just more or less exactly what you want to do on Dialga. Just set up quickly, lock him out of the game, and from there Dialga was able to run away with the show.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. It's a deck I've always kind of wanted to build, but it never just seemed like it was strong enough. So with Qianpao still being so prevalent, it does still have a small spot.
Yeah, but now moving on past that, we do have Pokemon's reported income for last year in Japan, $857 million, more than Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, and other TCGs combined.
Now, obviously, this is just for Japan alone, so obviously the numbers internationally may vary. If anything, I have a feeling Pokemon is still top regardless, but that is an insane number, because it's like Pokemon was first with 857 million, next was Yu-Gi-Oh! With only 302 million. Like, that's a 550 million difference. That's insane.
Yeah. Fantastic fiscal year for Pokemon Company. Moving on past that.
And then...
Yep, because saw you again.
And of course, with a Twilight Masquerade just being right around the corner, pre-release starting this weekend actually at LGS's, we finally found out what the pre-release promos are, and of course, I'm insanely happy because my boy Tatsugiri is one of them. The other 3 are Thwacky, which honestly fair with the new ability, Infernape, which I did not really look at before, but not bad, and Frostlass, which, again, pretty good. Yep. It's a very interesting mix. I'm kind of surprised to see 2 monkeys, though. That one's kind of silly to me, but...
I mean, now we just need a water monkey to complete the trio.
Please no, I don't want to see Simipour.
Oop, there we go. We have the next official Pokemon set coming up. It is codenamed Night Wanderer, featuring Pecharunt X and the Loyal 3. There we go. Before we get into these, they're good.
They are surprised. Well, 3 of the 4 are good.
Okay, 75% of them are good.
Like, Fitzendippity will see play just because that ability is honestly just a better Mew, but
yeah. We have Ogidogi EX, 250 HP basic. Its first attack, Colorless Poison Muscle. Search your deck for two basic dark energy, attach them to this Pokemon, shuffle your deck. If you attach any energy this way, this Pokemon is now poisoned.
which seems like it's bad at first, but this set is already shaping up to be a very poison-centric set, and it's kind of fun. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Second attack, 2 Darkness colorless, Crazy Chain, 130 plus damage. If this Pokemon is poisoned, this attack does 130 more damage.
So 260 with the detriment of only taking 10 damage per turn from the poison. Well, every attack up. Isn't bad.
Oh, no. We got Monkey Dory EX, 210 HP basic. Ability, Skip a Beat. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack while you have Petrified EX in play, your opponent takes 1 less prize card. And then 2 Darkness and a colorless, Dirty Headbutt, 190 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Dirty Headbutt.
Which, again, not awful by any means. It's a really nice, if you just need to switch in and not risk 2 prizes, especially if you have Petra on the field. It's just a good way to assure they can't get as many prizes as possible.
Next up, we got the Pheasantipity EX, 210 basic Pokemon. Ability, Take Advantage. If one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards. You can't use more than 1 Take Advantage ability per turn. And then triple colorless, Cruel Arrow. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Here's the 25% that's not good.
we love you, Pheasantipity. You have the weirdest of the names, but...
And then finally, the Petrarund EX. Its ability is Chain of Command, Once during your turn, you may switch one of your bench Dark Pokemon, including any Petrarund EX, with your active Pokemon. If you do, your new active Pokemon is now poisoned. You can't use more than 1 Chain of Command ability per turn. 2 Darkness Energy, Irritating Burst, 60 times damage. This attack does 60 damage times the number of prize cards your opponent has taken.
Which is a great revenge killer. The next one, both Nick and I have just been absolutely losing it over, is Qrem, which... Qrem hasn't had a card in a little while, I don't think.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. So the ability is called Anti-Plasma, and it'll make a lot of sense when you read what it does. If your opponent has a card with Colress in the name in the discard pile, this attack of this Pokemon's Trifrost is colorless instead. A single energy to do 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon, instead of using, 2 water, 2 steel, and a colorless.
Yep.
That is insane.
Yes.
They literally just made this card just to say no to Lost Box.
Someone at Pokemon Company is very tired of watching Lost Box. We have the Poison Jelly Donut Binding Mochi. The attacks of the poisoned Pokemon this card is attached to do 40 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance.
Which, it put it on Okie Dokie and he just goes smack. 300 damage from that is not a small number, and it will take out most either basic EXs or stage 1 EXs. Very close to Zard, but still just needs that little bit of extra. After that, there was Colress's Tenacity. Of course, we're getting another Colress card to, say, screw Lost Box again, I guess. Which says, search your deck for a Stadium card and an Energy card, reveal them, and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Pretty straightforward. The fact that it doesn't specify basic energy is kind of nice. So...
Definitely, you're probably going to see this as a 1 or 2 of slot in more or less every deck just for that ability.
And the last one has us both kind of like scratching our heads. It's not bad, but it's interesting. Which is the Neutral Center. It is the A-Spec Stadium, which I was never expecting an A-Spec Stadium, but here we are. What it says is prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have rule boxes by attacks from your Pokemon X or from your opponent's Pokemon X or Pokemon V, which can shut down a lot of things.
Notably, the second line of text on it is, if this card is in your discard pile, it can't be put into your deck or hand.
Yeah, that is the one, detriment, and that's, I think, what makes a lot of people pause on it. But if anything, some people might start running it as sort of once they're sure that, all the lost vacuums are gone or any other stadiums that they have to worry about are gone, just throw it down and just be like, you can't touch me.
I mean, it also potentially just turns into a 1 or 2 turn. I'm going to play this to stall out the game, hope that you don't have the answer immediately. And give myself a chance to kind of claw back after an upset. Next up on some new stuff that we haven't seen before. First, the A-Spec Stadium. Now we have English gym promos coming to Southeast Asia for the first time ever.
Which, yeah, no, that's really cool. I wish we got more gym promos. Mm-hmm. Can we get more gym promos, please?
Yeah. I mean, I believe currently, up until now, gym promos were Japan exclusive, so this is the first time anyone's getting gym promos other than them.
Fair enough. But that's honestly really nice to see, that it is slowly expanding, and it is just a matter of time before the international audiences fully get to see it, I feel. But here's hoping, honestly.
Yeah. It's something that I guess no one's going to complain about getting more promos. Mm-hmm. But that one's not important. We already hit on that, and I don't know why. But there we go. And then finally, we have DNA developing Pokemon TCG Pocket under rebrand Pokemon subsidiary.
Yep. So DNA Digital Productions is the one they started with Masters EX, mostly funded by themselves, partially funded by Pokemon Company. They have now rebranded themselves to where is it? Pokemon Card D Studios Company, which is honestly just very telling of how serious they are about this. And again, I'm still kind of like middle ground with this product. It's going to be one of those things that I'm going to have to sit down, look at, see just how it functions before I make any final decisions on it.
Yep.
But overall, it seems like a good idea, and it's kind of a fun way for people to collect when they can't collect.
It's also, like I said, it is a little telling of how much skin they're willing to put in the game. They renamed themselves around the game they're developing, essentially. Rather than, like, obviously you have, like, Niantic, who's currently doing Pokemon Go, but now you have Pokemon, Pokemon TCG Pocket being developed by Pokemon Card.
To be fair, Niantic is doing a bunch of other games as well, because I think they're also the ones behind the Monster Hunter game.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think this is kind of them signaling that they're going to be focusing solely on Pokemon TCG product from now on.
Or just Pokemon stuff in general.
Yeah.
Which, again, really cool. Gonna be fun seeing what comes out of it. But
beyond that, I do believe that concludes us for the news of this week.
More or less. Obviously, like I said, Twilight Masquerade is coming out soon. Official release, I believe, is the 24th? LGS is not. I almost said GLC.
It's 24th or the 25th, yeah, whichever the Friday is.
Of course, the local game stores are able to start selling as early as my birthday, May 20th, which I'm excited about. Means I'm going to immediately run here while I'm not working, grab 2 boxes and run away again.
Have you prepped your wish for the birthday skeleton?
No more Charizard?
Okay.
That is literally my only wish. No, I'm excited. The set overall looks really cool, and the Pokemon Company has also just been very good overall. I think they've been listening a lot to the fans, where it just kind of sucks when we start having, like we saw it especially in the Sword Shield era, like a Fusion Strike in particular I can think of. It ended up having a bunch of these single and Rapid Strike Pokemon that should have been earlier sets, but they had to cut the sets down. So getting like the entire set, save for 3 cards, which are just the illustration rares of the Loyal Trio, is very nice. There's a lot less confusion on what is legal, what isn't legal, and just all sorts of that kind of stuff. It's something I am hoping they continue, and I'm hoping they continue with the trend as well, with their Japan's secondary set essentially lining up with our set release, as the 2 Japanese sets typically equal the next set for us.
We touched on this a little bit on this week's Magic podcast as well.
Oh.
Where we talked about how Pokemon has gone towards kind of the first Japanese set, second Japanese set, 1 or 2 weeks later is the English set, and now coming this year, at the end of the year, Digimon is also going to be basically doing essentially a shotgun of releases where they're just firing off all the Japanese-only sets to catch the Western audience up and do the same thing where going forward it'll be, again, 1 or 2 Japanese small sets that feeds into the big English set and keep more or less everyone at synced up across the board.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that about Digimon. That's honestly really cool. Kind of glad to see more companies kind of doing this. I will ultimately always prefer Magic's because it's just international release. Like, if anything, Japan, I think, maybe might lag a week behind, but even then, not typically, I don't think.
No, for at least for Magic, it's all simultaneous international release. But like we're saying, with at least for Digimon Pokemon, it seems like there's a growing trend in Japan where if they're going to keep doing 2 small sets to 1 big westernized sets, they're going to try to sync the calendars up so now there's no longer weird delays where you're saying, like Fusion Strike, we had cards that were months and months and months down the line. And it's like, hey, when do we get to play with that? Because you showed off that like 6 months ago, and I really want to use that.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of felt this when we started seeing the Twilight Masquerade spoilers, because the Ursaluna has been teased since, like, February, I want to say?
Yep.
And I have just been sitting here waiting for the Ursaluna to finally drop.
Yeah.
Like, I also just really love that illustration rare. It is so pretty. But yeah, no, I think that more or less covers all of it.
Yep.
If you guys get Tatsugiri pre-release promos, you can always send them to me. I will always accept them. But real talk, it's gonna be fun. This set, it just has just so many variables in it that it's gonna make it a really fascinating set. And again, it's just gonna be fun seeing how it affects the international meta.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I will keep going on about how excited I am about this set, but I will contain my excitement, and we will cut the episode here. Mostly
right.
for Nick's sanity. So, as always, I'm Ash.
I'm Nick.
And we will catch you next time.